The large bowel forms an incomplete margin for the small bowel. The large bowel is divided into the cecum, the vermiform appendix, the ascending colon, the transverse colon, the descending colon, the sigmoid colon, and finally the rectum. The wall of the large bowel is thrown into folds that are called hostri or circulation. Those hostri are due to the fact that the longitudinal muscle fiber is shorter than the whole length of the bowel. Those longitudinal muscle fiber layer arranged into 3 bundles which are called tinea coli. Here is one of the tinea coli. Those tinea coli are arranged as 2 on both sides. This is another one, and the third one on the posterior wall. The first part of the large bowel is the cecum. It starts at the ileocecal junction. It is a blind-ended sac with a relatively weaker wall, and it is freely mobile, although it has no mesentery. The peritoneum covers the cecum like an envelope. Anteriorly, it covers the anterior wall of the cecum, and this part of the peritoneum becomes continuous with the peritoneum covering the anterior part of the ascending colon. On its posterior wall, the peritoneum covers all the posterior wall of the cecum, and then it becomes reflected on the posterior abdominal wall as the parietal peritoneum. This reflection forms the so-called the retrocecal recess. This retrocecal recess is clinically important because the tip of the vermiform appendix, if it's inflamed, may lie in the retrocecal recess. The tinea coli goes all the way through the length of the large bowel from the cecum till the rectosigmoid junction. When they come at the base of the appendix, the 3 tinea coli meets at the base to form a complete layer covering the appendix. The appendix, or the vermiform appendix, is a worm-like structure starting at space from the cecum, and it's attached to the posterior abdominal wall with this fold of peritoneum called the mesoappendix. This mesoappendix contains the blood vessels of the appendix, which are derived from the ileocolic artery. The tip of the appendix can lie in different places, but the base is fixed in a point which is called the McBurney point. If we draw a line from the anterior superior iliac spine to the umbilicus, the point in the proximal one-third of this line is called the McBurney point. That is the point joining the proximal one-third with the distal two thirds. This point is used to plan appendicectomy incisions. If you inspect inside the cecum, you can appreciate the presence of the ileocecal junction guarded by the ileocecal valve, and just below it is the orifice of the appendix.